Ugh. I hate luck because there's no use for it, but every successful person says it's necessary. I woke up and I was thinking about how difficult this whole marketing thing is, and trying to be creative and show my work to people on the broader side of the internet. And as I usually do when I'm trolling on YouTube and listening to how many people choose different avenues of talking or promoting their works. I've been mostly listening to a YouTube video called I think it was how 99% of video game projects fail. It was like 99, 98, but that was around the topic of it. And it was long story short, it was mostly about how a lot of people market their games wrong. And me being a comic creator, I see a lot of parallels when it comes to marketing comics and then marketing games. I feel that people should market should people. I feel like people who market their comics should learn from people who market their games because it's a bigger industry and there's more of a bigger pool to learn from. But I digress. That's just my personal opinion. But I, as a person that tried his hand in making games, I've learned that the my main problem was it was feature creep, and not feature creep, but it was just learning how to make a game, learning how to code, because I never. It was my first game, and I had ambitions, and it just didn't turn out well. So as I was learning, as I was like taking my time learning through this whole new medium, and just looking back at this video, like cutting down to fast forward into today and looking at this video, I really want to be successful with the medium that I choose and with my art form. And I think there is this one notion that I saw within several comment section is if you want to do something for money, then you should go get a job. And that I notion has been hanging in the back of my mind for a while, and it and I don't know why it bothered me until I had to like do a lot of thinking and a lot of just reflection until I realized why I felt so negative within the idea of getting a traditional job. It's not really it's not really because of what you think. It's not because of I want to be my own boss. I want to work my own hours and X, Y, and Z. It mostly comes from the notion of me not wanting to be complacent because the goal of my goal is to be able to make a living off of my intellectual property, and that requires of having X, Y, and Z amount of money, enough for me to live off of, enough for me to live in this country, America, and to make the products that I want to make. I want to make it good, and I want to live off of the fruits of my labor with that. And conceptually, a job gets in the way with that because if I'm getting my bread through an outside means or an outside source, I don't have to worry about how good my comic is or how I present my comic or if it does well or not. I've noticed this pattern in several parts of my life, three different parts of my life actually. I would say like the first time that I noticed was when I originally went out in college. Right, in college, I wasn't really focused on making. I wasn't focused on making my comic. I was more. I wasn't focused on making money off of my comic because I had money through FAFSA, and I didn't have to pay any. I was well at the time. still living with my parents, I was but I didn't have to pay rent, and the my main source of money was through FAFSA, and the money that I was getting, I was just investing it in cryptocurrency. So I didn't have the need to make my comic successful because I had my money, I had my revenue coming from somewhere else. The second part was when I had a job, when I was working for Spectrum. I my main focus was uh, my main focus was going, clocking in, clocking out, getting a job so I can help out around the house paying rent. And throughout my time working there, it only lasted a month because the idea of selling myself to sell a product that I didn't care about, that didn't sit right with me. So I left. The third, I feel like there was a third because good things always come in threes. But those are like the two. But right now it's not coming to me. So those were the two main things of why I just I putting 110% into learning how to market, learning, recording my process of how I can make this dream, a reality. And it it's really hard to say, but like the very real reality of this not coming to pass, it is it is something that I have to understand that this might be a thing, and I'm not comfortable with it, but it is what it is. All these things, it is what it is. So, what does all of this have to do with luck? Well, I would say that with all this time that I've been looking into researching how creative people were able to monetize or able to make a living off of what they make. They usually, when they have their own bits and pieces of how they made it, I would usually hear that they say, it's hard work plus luck, and that doesn't help anybody because nobody can manipulate luck. Nobody People say it's nobody can manipulate luck. People say it's a probability of, if you work as hard, if you do the right moves, then that probability gets bigger and bigger. However, it's not a surefire thing. It's not something that people can learn from. It's equivalent to an older brother saying, if you're asking your older brother to do X, Y, and Z, and them telling you I don't know. That's what luck sounds like. You're not you're not helping anybody, but and I guess that comes from people who stumbled upon success and they themselves not knowing how it worked. And very much so, I learned that a lot of people from the creative space, a lot of like your pop artists and whatnot, on Twitter or on the internet that draw fan art, they, even though they make their money off of commissions, they understand how they got successful, but they don't know how to how would I say this? How they get there. So luck is a very convenient cop out. So I say I would like to end a lot of videos when it comes to uh, with a uh, with a solution because I'm not a very doom and gloom person. So what's the answer to the whole luck thing? Just stop saying it's luck. It's a lot easier for people to just say, I don't know, how I got this way, how I got reach the success. I don't know. And it mostly lands on the favor of people who just dissect the upbringing of the successful person in question and to dissect the person in question in terms of their how they got there, what are all the elements that brought them from A to Z, and the individual who is receiving that information of what made it work for them, why they made it work for them, and how can you make it work for you. So with no luck required, luck is stupid.